Welcome to Human-Computer Interaction. My name is Ashford Tambi, and I will be taking you on this journey. Imagine that Peter had just come into your classroom, or had come into your own space. What would you have said? One thing that Fantasy Interactive could do for you to enhance your course design, what would it be? To me, this would be an easy choice. The addition of virtual reality. The inclusion of virtual reality into my course presentations would definitely add some flair and excitement to my students. I can imagine how students would react to the thought of, on their first class, placing a user interface over their eyes and then journeying back into time and looking at various projects throughout time. Looking at the construction of the pyramids, Noah's Ark, so many different projects throughout time. Even more so, when teaching about scheduling, execution, monitoring and control topics within my project management field, students can now virtually be with me as they can now walk through actual projects with me. This is quite beneficial. As Bell and Folger state, by adapting VR into modern day education, it offers a new tool for educators and provides a new way of reaching out to more students. Therefore, Gutenberg 2010 defines VR as very similar to what others would have said. He states that VR is defined as the use of a computer-generated 3D environment, called a virtual environment, that one can navigate and possibly interact with, resulting in real-time simulation of one or more of the user's 5 senses. But what is more appealing in regards to VR in education is the fact that it can be used to simulate and allow learners to practice procedures without the risks involved. An example of this is when I want to expose my students to a construction site, let's say, to understand the scheduling process or the execution process within this group. This would allow the students the real-life experience without having to actually be in the real space. This is what VR can do for my students. Virtual reality technology offers various capabilities that are able to provide promising support for education. Some of these capabilities include the ability to allow students to visualize and interact with the three-dimensional virtual representation, experience the virtual representation in real time, visualize and articulate their understanding of phenomena by constructing or manipulating the virtual environments, and so many others as we have listed on our screen. So, what does the theory, or what theory lies behind this? I would say, in my opinion, the constructivist philosophy holds that knowledge is constructed through an individual's interaction with the environment. Constructivism is nothing new. The core ideas of this theory have existed for over a century. Piaget and Dewey among its first few to develop a clear idea of it. As opposed to behaviorism, that holds the knowledge reproduction, constructivism as a learning theory emphasizes the combination of inputs from the senses, existing knowledge, new information to develop new meaning and understanding through active, authentic, cooperative, and reflective learning activities. Wynne 1993 highlights that the characteristics of virtual reality and the constructivist learning theory are entirely compatible, and asserted that constructivist theory provides a valid and reliable basis for a theory of virtual reality learning. Bricken, Chen, and many others further point out the various capabilities of this technology that support constructivism. Virtual reality in this regard could present a three-dimensional representation of a problem in the form of a visual, auditory, or even kinesthetic. It allows the simulation of real environments that mimics the real-world environments. Such problem representation is definitely more appealing, interesting, and engaging to students compared to other representation models, such as just being a narrative text or picture, as it stimulates most of the senses that a human uses when dealing with real-world environments. A virtual environment provides a problem manipulation space that allows the learner to freely explore and to manipulate the virtual objects within the environment. Unlike many other educational tools, a virtual reality environment is designed without a specified sequence. Its focus shifts from the design of prescribed interactions with the learning environment to design of environments that permit the student to experience any kind of interaction. This complies with the learner-centered approach, where the learner can control over what he or she wants to explore or manipulate. In other words, the learner can choose to navigate through the simulated environment or interact with the objects of his or her interest for further observation. In so doing, the learner may make mistakes and wrong predictions, and these experiences are the conditions for modifying existent knowledge and thus constructing new knowledge. A virtual environment allows the learner to control and interact directly with objects within the virtual world. Such control and interaction, together with free exploration, provide a greater sense of empowerment. And we all know that these factors contribute to motivation, which is a key component to learning. This once again complies with another principle of constructivist learning environment that specifies the need to grant learners with responsibility for the learning process to create understanding. Learners can also learn from the process of visiting or exploring the virtual environment. A learner who navigates through a virtual environment can gain valuable virtual experience. A textual description, for instance, requires reading skills. A picture can be recognized immediately, but they are not interactive. But a physical space allows the user to explore and to walk through it. More important, it has natural semantics that provide meaning to the user without any explanation. This virtual experience supports the constructivist point of view that emphasizes understanding is tracked by experience. An obvious advantage of virtual reality is that this technology allows a learner to experience environments which cannot be experienced in the real world, maybe due to the cost or other risk factors. If the constructivist interpretations are valid, creating a virtual world that allows the learner to explore and interact with the information will enable the learner to learn much more about the knowledge domain. There is also the importance of providing cognitive tools, which are tools to assist the mental processes in constructivist learning environments. A virtual environment can serve as an excellent visualization tool, as it enables the learners to visualize the three-dimensional representations of a problem or simulated environment and present abstract information in a more cognitively accessible format. Thus, it helps to reduce the learner's cognitive load in constructing mental images and performing visualizing activities. Have you ever used VR before in your class? And will you be willing to add it as an aspect in the courses that you teach? Given the many constraints that VR has, do you think that VR could be used in our Caribbean context successfully? I hope that what I have shared with you today in this short time has enlightened you in some way. Thank you.